All right, for these notes, we are going to get our steps for how to solve equations with rational exponents, and then we'll have some examples and one to try on your own. Reminder of what rational means. Rational means number as a fraction, or number in fraction form. Okay? So the steps on how to solve. Step 1, we need to first isolate the rational exponent portion. All right, that step is very similar to what you did in the previous playlist. Once we've got that portion isolated, we want to raise both sides of the equation to a power that will result in an exponent of 1. This is that power of a power rule. Where you did in your build and in your learn that, or in your build where it covered that exponent rule. Now, the type of power that you have to raise the equation to get this exponent of 1 is the reciprocal power, okay? So that is talking about this here. And once we raise both sides to that reciprocal power, we simplify and solve the remaining equation. Okay, so a couple of notes. If this reciprocal power, that's what we're talking about, the reciprocal power. If you raise both sides to that reciprocal power that has an even numerator, you must check for extraneous solutions. Okay? But if you raise both sides to that reciprocal power that has an even denominator, you must write both the positive and negative solution. Okay, and we'll cover some examples of what that looks like. So example 1, we have x plus 5 raised to the power of 2/3 equals 64. Now my rational exponent portion is already isolated, so I'm going to raise both sides to the reciprocal power. And the reciprocal power for this example is 3/2. Okay, so I'm going to raise both sides to that 3/2 power. I have power of a power rule, so the powers multiply. 2 times 3/3 times 2 makes 6/6. So 6/6. So then that gives me 1. Okay, and anything to the first power means that it is isolated. All right, so I have x plus 5 equals 64 to the 3rd halves power. Now, to simplify this, you can use your calculator and type it in just like that, or you could take this apart. That can mean 64 cubed, take a square root of that, or it can mean square root of 64 and cube that, with how multiplication works with the powers, okay? I prefer this way because square root of 64 is a lot easier to do. So square root of 64 is going to be 8, and then I want to cube that. But 8 cubed is 512. Okay? So really, this would be equal to 512 on the right side. But we raised, look at our note 2, we raised this side of the equation to a power that has an even denominator. So because we took that square root, and we have to account for the positive and the negative of the square root. So we are going to get positive or negative 512. Okay? So we need to set up two equations, one with the positive root and one with the negative. So I have x plus 5 equals 512. And then I have x plus 5 equals negative 512. Get x by itself. So I'm left with x equals 507 for my first solution. Or x equals negative 517 for my second solution. Okay? So that's what we get when we have